Hello, I'm Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and welcome back to my official channel.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and welcome back to my official channel. So it is extremely late right now, and I am running on nothing but cold coffee and the sheer adrenaline of these Friday soap opera deadlines. Because let me tell you, the drama on The Bold and the Beautiful is just spiraling completely out of control. And I am here to dump every single thought in my head right onto this page. Because the scoop for Friday, March 27, is just wild, like really wild. Deacon Sharp is officially losing his mind, and he is dragging his daughter into his mess. Because of course he is. That is just classic Deacon, always making the absolute worst choices at the worst possible times. So let us just dive right into this mess, because there is so much to unpack and my brain is just buzzing with all the terrible decisions these characters are making right now. And we have to start with Hope Logan Spencer, because poor Hope is just constantly carrying the weight of her father's bad decisions. She really is. And in Friday's episode, she is going to be so stressed out because she knows her dad is in love with another woman. But it is not just some random woman off the street. It is Taylor Hayes, which is just the most explosive person he could possibly pick, other than maybe Brooke again. But Taylor is Steffi's mother, and Steffi hates Deacon, and Sheila is Deacon's wife. And Sheila is a literal psychopath. So Hope is just sitting there with all this anxiety because she knows how dangerous Sheila Carter actually is. She knows that if Sheila finds out Deacon is fooling around behind her back, she will be out for blood, literally. Sheila does not just get mad, she gets murderous. And Hope knows this. She has lived through the Sheila terrors so many times. But Hope has also been encouraging her dad to go after what he wants, because she wants him to be happy, which is sweet, but also incredibly naive, because you cannot just casually break up with Sheila Carter. It does not work that way. You do not just hand Sheila a divorce paper and walk away. She will hunt you down. So Hope is terrified, and Liam Spencer is going to notice, because Liam always notices when Hope is spiraling. He knows his wife, he knows when something is weighing on her, and he is going to push her to talk about it. So she is going to confide in him, which is a huge deal, because Hope has been keeping this Deacon and Taylor thing pretty close to the chest, but she needs an outlet. She needs to tell her husband about her father's massive marriage woes. So Hope is going to open up to Liam. She is going to tell him that Deacon is no longer in love with Sheila and that he is interested in someone else. But the big question here is whether she will actually admit that it is Taylor. Because if she tells Liam it is Taylor, his head might actually explode. Seriously, Liam already hates Deacon, and Liam respects Steffi. And he knows that Steffi would absolutely lose her mind if she knew her mother was sleeping with Deacon Sharp. So Hope has to tread really carefully here. But she is just so overwhelmed, and she might just blurt it out, because she needs Liam to understand the gravity of the situation. She needs him to know that her dad is playing with fire and that they all might get burned if Sheila finds out. And speaking of Liam, we really need to talk about his mindset right now, because Liam has learned to tolerate Sheila, which is insane when you think about it. But he would never say she is safe, but he acknowledges that she has been on her best behavior for a long time now. She is working at the restaurant. She is married to Deacon. She is staying out of trouble. But Liam also knows that reformed villains are ticking time bombs, especially Sheila. So when Hope tells him that Deacon is looking to stray, Liam is going to panic, because he knows that Deacon cheating on Sheila is the exact trigger that will send her right back into her old psychotic ways. And Liam is going to be so frustrated with Deacon, because Deacon finally got a good thing going with Il Giardino, and now he is risking it all for a fling with Taylor Hayes. But Deacon is not just risking his own life, he is actively involving Hope in his life, which is just so gross. Because in Friday's episode, Deacon is going to ask Hope to cover for him. He is going to call his daughter and ask her to be his alibi because he finds out that Taylor has the Cliff House all to herself and he just cannot resist. He has to go see her. So he comes up with this incredibly stupid plan. He lies to Sheila. He tells his wife that he has plans for the evening. And he says he is heading over to Hope's place for dinner, which is a terrible lie because Sheila could easily just text Hope or show up at the cabin. But Deacon does not think about that. He just wants to get to Taylor. So he makes up this lie and then he calls Hope, and the leaked preview shows this exact moment. Deacon is on the phone and he says to Hope that he hates to put her in this position, but he told Sheila they were having dinner tonight and he calls her sweetheart. Like, that makes it okay to use your daughter as a shield against your psychotic wife. It is just so manipulative, but Deacon is desperate and Hope is going to be so conflicted because she loves her dad and she wants him to be with Taylor instead of Sheila. So she will probably assume he has plans with Taylor and she will cover for him, but she is going to hate it. She is going to be sitting there in the cabin with Liam, just waiting for Sheila to suddenly bust through the door looking for Deacon. It is a terrible position to put your child in, but Deacon is so blinded by his lust for Taylor that he does not even care. So let us shift gears to Sheila, because Sheila is completely clueless right now. She actually believes her husband. She thinks he is just having a nice father-daughter dinner with Hope. So she is just going about her evening, and she ends up hanging out with Lee Finnegan at Il Giardino, which is a whole nother level of crazy, because Lee and Sheila hanging out casually is just bizarre. I mean, let us not forget the history here. Sheila literally shot Lee's son, Finn, and then Sheila chased Lee in a car and ran her off the road into the water. And Lee kept Finn alive in secret while Sheila thought she had murdered her own son. They have so much bad blood. They are mortal enemies. But here they are, just chatting at a table at the restaurant, because soap opera logic, sometimes you just have to suspend your disbelief and go with it. And during this little chat, Lee is going to drop a massive piece of information because Lee is just making conversation. She does not know what is going on with Deacon and Taylor. So Lee tells her friend Sheila that John Finnegan and his family are camping for the night. She mentions that Finn and Steffi and Kelly and Hayes all went on a short overnight trip just to get away and have some family time, which is cute. But Sheila immediately starts putting the pieces together because Sheila is always analyzing everything. So Sheila assumes that Taylor went with them because Taylor has been living at the Cliff House and she is always with the kids. But Lee corrects her. Lee says, no, Taylor stayed home. Taylor is at the Cliff House all by herself. And you can just see the wheels turning in Sheila's head because Sheila suddenly gets an idea. And this is where things get really twisted because Sheila actually feels bad for Taylor. She thinks Taylor must be so lonely sitting all by herself in that big house on the cliff because Sheila has this completely warped view of her relationship with Taylor. She actually thinks they are friends, or at least friendly, because of that time on the hospital roof when Sheila was depressed and wanted to jump off the roof and Taylor tried to talk her down. But then Taylor slipped and was dangling off the edge. And Sheila grabbed her wrist and pulled her back up. Sheila saved Taylor's life. And in Sheila's twisted mind that bonded them forever, she thinks they have a connection. Even though Taylor cannot stand her and is actively sleeping with her husband, so Sheila decides she is going to do something nice. She thinks her husband is busy with Hope, and she has a free evening. So she decides she is going to go to the Cliff House to keep Taylor company because she is just such a good mother-in-law, right? She is going to buy some flowers and just show up to surprise Taylor. So they do not have to spend the evening alone. It is almost tragic if you think about it. Sheila is actually trying to be a good person here. She is trying to reach out and be a friend, but she has no idea that she is walking right into the biggest betrayal of her life. She has no idea that the woman she is trying to comfort is currently stripping down for her husband. It is just a massive train wreck waiting to happen, and I am so here for it. Because meanwhile, Deacon is putting his terrible plan into action. He thinks he is in the clear. He thinks Hope has his back and Sheila is none the wiser. So he heads over to the Cliff House, and he does not just knock on the front door like a normal person, because he is Deacon Sharp. He has to sneak around. So he goes around the back and he lets himself into the Cliff House via the sliding glass door in the kitchen, which is just so invasive. This is Steffi's house. Steffi explicitly told Taylor that she wanted Deacon nowhere near her property. Steffi threatened to cut Taylor out of the family if she kept seeing him. And here is Deacon just sliding through the kitchen door like he owns the place. It is so disrespectful, but Taylor does not care. Taylor is just waiting for him, and the scene is going to be so steamy because they have been sneaking around the office for weeks, just kissing behind closed doors and hiding from everyone. But now they have the whole house to themselves, and they are going to take full advantage of it. So Deacon walks in through that kitchen door, and Taylor is right there, and they just immediately start going at it. They are making out on the couch in the living room, right in the middle of Steffi's house. Just completely reckless behavior. They are not even going to the bedroom yet. They are just all over each other on the couch because they have been fighting this attraction for so long. And Deacon says he fought it as hard as he could, but nothing is going to keep them apart, which is a great line, but also completely delusional because his wife is literally on her way to the house right now. So picture this. You have Deacon and Taylor just tangled up on the living room couch, completely lost in the moment, clothes probably starting to come off. And then you have Sheila Carter walking up to the front door, holding a bouquet of flowers, just smiling and thinking she is about to have a nice girls' night with her daughter-in-law's mother. It is the ultimate collision course. And the suspense is just killing me because the preview asks the big question, will they get caught? And honestly, I do not know how they get out of this one because the Cliff House has so many windows. You can see right into the living room from the outside. So if Sheila walks up to the door and looks through the glass, she is going to see them right there on the couch. But maybe they hear her coming. Maybe they hear a car pull up, or maybe Sheila knocks first. And then it is going to be absolute panic, just pure chaos. Imagine Deacon Sharp scrambling off that couch, trying to find his shirt, looking for a place to hide. He is going to have to dive under the sofa or run into the bathroom. Or maybe he tries to sneak back out the sliding glass door in the kitchen while Taylor answers the front door. It would be hilarious if it was not so dangerous, because if Sheila catches them, it is game over. All of the progress Sheila has made over the last few years will just vanish in an instant. She will snap. She will revert right back to the woman who shoots people in dark alleyways, and Taylor and Deacon will be her primary target. And you really have to blame Taylor here too, because she is a world-renowned psychiatrist. She knows how the human mind works. She knows exactly what Sheila's psychological profile is. She knows that Sheila is obsessive and possessive and prone to violent outbursts when she feels betrayed. And yet Taylor is actively choosing to sleep with Sheila's husband. It defies all logic. It really does. Taylor has lost her mind. She is so desperate for validation and affection after losing Ridge again that she is willing to risk her life and her relationship with her daughter just to have a fling with Deacon Sharp. It is sad, but it is also incredibly selfish because she is putting Steffi and the kids in danger by bringing this drama to their doorstep. And think about Steffi. Steffi is away on this nice little camping trip with Finn and the kids, trying to relax, trying to get away from all the stress of Forrester Creations and the Logan feud. And she has no idea that her mother is turning her pristine Cliff House into a cheap motel for Deacon Sharp. When Steffi finds out about this, she is going to go ballistic. She is going to evict Taylor immediately. There is no way Taylor is going to be allowed to live there anymore. Steffi already laid down the law. She gave Taylor a strict ultimatum. And Taylor just spit right in her face by inviting Deacon over the second Steffi left town. It is the ultimate betrayal of trust between a mother and daughter, and the fallout is going to be massive. But let us get back to the Friday episode, because the tension is just going to be off the charts. Hope sitting at home with Liam, just staring at her phone, praying that Deacon does not get caught. Liam pacing the floor, ranting about how Deacon is a disaster waiting to happen, and how they need to protect themselves from Sheila's inevitable wrath. Liam is probably going to want to go over to the Cliff House himself to break it up, because Liam loves to play the hero. But Hope will probably stop him because she does not want to expose her dad. So they are just stuck waiting for the bomb to drop. And it is a terrible feeling, knowing that a disaster is happening right across town and you cannot do anything to stop it. And then you have Lee Finnegan just sipping her drink at Il Giardino, completely unaware that she just handed Sheila the keys to a catastrophic discovery. Lee is usually so sharp, she usually sees right through people. But she just casually handed over Taylor's location without a second thought. And honestly, part of me wonders if Lee did it on purpose, because Lee does not like Taylor that much anyway. And she definitely hates Sheila. So maybe Lee knew exactly what she was doing. Maybe she figured out that Deacon is cheating and she wanted to send Sheila right into the line of fire. It would be a very Lee Finnegan thing to do. Just quietly planting a seed of destruction and watching it grow. But maybe I am just reading too much into it. Maybe she was just making small talk. But on a soap opera, small talk is never just small talk. So Sheila gets the flowers. She drives to the Cliff House and she walks up to the door. And this is the moment we are all waiting for, because the B&B producers love to tease us. They love to show us someone peering through a window and then cut to black. So Friday's episode is definitely going to end on a massive cliffhanger. We are going to see Sheila's face at the glass, her expression changing from a friendly smile to absolute horror and rage as she looks through the window and sees her beloved husband Deacon making out with Taylor Hayes on the living room couch. The betrayal, the shock, the sheer fury that is going to wash over her. It is going to be an Emmy-winning moment for Kimberlyn Brown, because she plays that psychotic rage so well. And what does Deacon do? He is so stupid. He really is. He thinks he is this smooth operator, but he is just a guy making a string of terrible decisions. He lied to his wife. He used his daughter as a human shield, and he broke into his enemy's house to sleep with his enemy's mother. It is a recipe for absolute disaster. And when Sheila confronts him, he is going to have nothing to say. He is just going to stammer and make excuses. But Sheila is not going to want to hear it. She is going to want revenge, and Taylor better watch her back, because Sheila has shot her before and she will not hesitate to do it again. Especially now that Taylor is stealing the one thing Sheila truly loves. So yeah, that is the scoop for Friday. It is just a giant mess of lies and betrayals and terrible decisions. And I cannot wait to watch it all unfold, because this is the kind of drama that makes The Bold and the Beautiful so addictive. You have characters doing the absolute worst things to each other, and you just cannot look away. It is like a car crash in slow motion. And Deacon and Taylor are right in the driver's seat, speeding towards a brick wall named Sheila Carter. So make sure you tune in, because you are not going to want to miss a single second of this absolute train wreck. And I will be right here next week to break down all the fallout, because there is going to be a lot of fallout. Trust me on that. And I just have to add another thought here, because my brain will not stop. What about Hope tomorrow? When Sheila inevitably finds out that Deacon lied about being at Hope's house, Sheila is going to realize that Hope covered for him, which means Hope is going to be on Sheila's hit list too. Because Sheila demands absolute loyalty. And if she thinks Hope was conspiring with Deacon to hide his affair with Taylor, oh boy, Hope better lock the doors at the cabin because Sheila will come looking for answers. And Liam is going to lose his mind trying to protect his family. This one little lie that Deacon told is going to ripple out and affect everyone. It is going to drag the Logans and the Forresters and the Spencers all into this massive Sheila Carter vortex of doom. And it just frustrates me so much as a viewer because Deacon had it all. He finally had the restaurant. He had respect. He had his daughter in his life without any restrictions. And he threw it all away because he could not keep his hands off Taylor Hayes. And Taylor, do not even get me started on Taylor again. She preaches about morals and ethics and family values. And then she goes and does this in her daughter's house, on her daughter's couch. It is just so hypocritical. And I really hope Steffi gives her the absolute worst dressing down in television history when she finds out, because Taylor deserves it. She really does. She needs a harsh reality check. And unfortunately, that reality check might come in the form of Sheila Carter kicking down the door. So there you have it. A complete unfiltered brain dump of everything coming up this Friday. It is going to be clunky and messy and completely chaotic, just like the lives of these characters. And I am here for every single dramatic second of it, because that is what we love about daytime television. The absolute refusal of these people to make a single good life choice. It is beautiful in its own twisted